our first ever run of God Squad at Sydney, because we were the founding chapter of God Squad. We decided to stop at the Gold Coast camp up there in Tallebudgera Creek, and that particular year we had no idea that was going to be a meeting place, because we were going to Cairns that year for our national run, and the speaker was John Smith. And when we heard him, he was such a dynamic guy. We just had to get to speak to him. We just knew for some reason we had to speak with him. And when we finally got to him, which was a difficult situation, us being bikies, and of course the other people were Christian churches, and they didn't like the bikes particularly there. We did finally get to him and spoke to him. And he also related to us that there was a group that he knew in Melbourne who was interested in the same idea of starting a Christian club, and whether we'd be prepared to come down and speak to them, which we arranged to do after our trip on the long weekend in January 1972. And so a number of us rode down there and met the group, talked with John and Glenda and a few of these guys, and suggested that if they wanted to be part of God Squad or to be interested, they needed to ride back to Sydney at some stage. So they made a date in May and they rode to Sydney, and we questioned them and spent some time with them, and then initiated them as, well, they call them prospects now, but it was probation members then, for the next 3 months. It brings tears to my eyes. I've just been speaking to a few international members now, and some of our older members as well as younger members, and to be in here now and around the group at this stage in my life, and seeing after all these years what God has done. It's just amazing to see what God has done, and where He has taken the club to all corners of the world, and the ministry that continues. I think the commitment of the overseas guys and girls that I've seen is very real to travel these distances. I was very fortunate to meet with them when I was overseas a while back, and I was asked to go and visit one of the new clubs in Holland, in Zolle. And they have a couple of their members here this weekend, in which I had met over there, and it was wonderful to catch up with them. The unity of the group is extremely good, and the love that is shown amongst many of them is very special. And I think that is what we need to continue with, and to spread that love amongst our own members, as well as our friends around us, because that's what brings people to the Lord, and know that we are Christians by our love. My dream would be that they would continue working towards God's ideals and not the 1%'s club's ideals. Jesus said we are to be the light of the world, the salt of the earth, that we are supposed to shine, we are supposed to show who we are by our actions and our words, because it is God's squad. It is not mine. It's got nothing to do with me. I was just part of it, and it's so important that we keep on in God's view, in God's own way, because we are accountable completely to Him, and that's so important to continue to remember. I think it's just wonderful to still be able to manage to come on these trips while I have the opportunity. I'm unable to ride now, but you don't need a bike to be witnessing to people. As one of the old Melbourne guys who used to be around here, Mike Peel, many years ago, said, I get up every morning and ask the Lord if there's someone here, Lord, that I can minister to. And I think that is what we need to have in our hearts and in our minds and our attitudes. And if we do that, we will never go astray and always be led to where the Lord wants us to go.